Hello everyone, and welcome to Sparkle English, where I teach you different ways that you can improve your level of English. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the present simple tense. I'm going to discuss how to form the present simple in the affirmative form. I'll also show you the spelling rules for how we conjugate verbs after he, she, and it. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. Let's get started. So when do we use the present simple? We use the present simple when something is normally or always true. For example, animals need water to survive. Here, the verb need is in the present simple. Christmas is in December. Cheetahs run fast. Need, is, and run are all in the present simple because these are all facts that are always true. We also use the present simple tense for situations that we believe are more or less permanent. For example, William lives in England. Sean works at a bank. I like chocolate. We use the present simple to talk about habits or things that we do regularly. We can use time expressions or adverbs of frequency, such as often, always, sometimes, and never with the present simple. For example, I always drink coffee in the morning. Here we're talking about something that we do a lot or do often. He never smokes cigarettes. They brush their teeth twice a day. We also use the present simple to talk about the future when we are discussing a timetable or a fixed plan. For example, school starts at 8 o'clock. The plane departs at 5:42 p.m. The football game begins at 9 o'clock this evening. In all of these examples, we're talking about a timetable or an event in the future that is fixed on a calendar or on a time schedule. So we can use the present simple, even though we're talking about the future. Now I'm going to discuss the spelling rules for the present simple. With most verbs, we add s for the he, she, and it form. For example, I work, you work, he, she, it works, you, we, they work. So for most verbs, you have to add an s when we use the he, she, or it form. For example, he lives in Madrid. She always walks to school. In both of these examples, we have to add s at the end of the verb because we're using the he or she form. For I, you, we, and they, we just use the verb as it is. For verbs that end in s, x, sh, and ch, we add es for the he, she, and it form. For example, I kiss, you kiss, he, she, or it kisses. We have to add es because kiss ends in s. For example, Tom never washes the dishes. Wash ends in sh. It ends in sh. So we have to add es for the he, she, and it form. He kisses his wife every morning before going to work. Again, kiss ends in s, so we have to add es for he, she, and it. Now, verbs ending in a consonant followed by y, we change the y to ies for the he, she, and it form. So I study, you study, he, she, or it studies. So we remove the y and add IES. For example, if we have the word play, play becomes plays for the he, she, or it form because this is a vowel before Y. It's not a consonant. But study, D is a consonant. So if it's a consonant before Y, we have to change the Y to IES. For vowels, A, E, I, O, and U, we don't have to. We just have to add the S if it's before Y. Lauren studies every afternoon. The bird flies south for the winter. In the present simple, we also have some irregular verbs. I have a video on the verb to be in the present simple, which I'll link to in the description below this video. One of the irregular verbs we have that you have to memorize is have. I have, you have, he, she, it has. You, we, they have. For example, Jane has a dog. Jane is a woman, so Jane is she. She has a dog. You have a red car. The next irregular verb in the present simple is go. I go, you go, he, she, it goes. We have to add ES. And we and they go. Luke goes to the gym twice a week. I rarely go to the cinema. And we have do. I do, you do, he, she, it does with ES, you, we, they do. Julie always does her homework. I do, the bride said on her wedding day. So now we're going to have two different practice sections. In this first section, you're going to answer if these sentences are correct or incorrect. There are 8 sentences. I'm going to read them, and then you have to correct them on a piece of paper or in the comment section of this video. Number 1, we eat pizza every Friday. 2, you looks tired. 3, she work in a school. 4, the dog always runs to the park. 5, I starts work at 9 o'clock. 6, he drinks orange juice every morning. 7, Jake live in London. 8, she watch TV in the evenings. So use the rules we just discussed to fix any of the sentences here that are incorrect. Number 1 is correct. We eat pizza every Friday. Number 2 is incorrect. We have to write you look tired. We only add the S for she, he, and it. She work in a school. This is incorrect. It should be works. We add an S for he, she, and it. The dog always runs to the park. This is correct. 5, I starts work at 9 o'clock. This is incorrect. We just write start with no S. We only add the S for he, she, and it. He drinks orange juice every morning. This is correct. Number 7, Jake live in London. This is incorrect. For this verb, we have to add S because Jake is a he. He lives in London. Jake lives in London. Number 8, she watched TV in the evenings. This is incorrect. Watches. Now, with this, we have to add ES because it ends in ch and ch. So remember to look at the rules for how to conjugate the verbs in the present simple. So let me know in the comment section how many you got correct out of 8. And now we'll go on to a more difficult practice. In this section, you have to complete these sentences with the correct form of the verb in brackets. So number 1, Matthew football every night. So here we have the verb, and you have to conjugate the verb correctly using the spelling rules I taught you before. So the correct answer here would be Matthew watches, W-A-T-C-H-E-S. The verb ends in ch, so we add es. Number 2, the play at 5 o'clock this afternoon. In this case, begin is a regular verb. We'll put begins with an S. Number 3, planes over the park every morning. In this case, planes is they, so we just write fly, F-L-Y. We don't have to change it to flies because it's not a she, he, or it. Number 4, I never broccoli. Here we just write eat. I never eat broccoli. Number 5, he to a new restaurant every week. Now go is a regular, so we have to write goes, G-O-E-S. He goes to a new restaurant every week. Number 6, Steve his homework after school. Steve is a he, so we write Steve does, D-O-E-S, his homework after school. Number 7, Dad always my car when I break it. This verb ends in X, and when a verb ends in X, for the he, she, or it form, we have to add es. So Dad always fixes my car when I break it. F-I-X-E-S. Number 8, I usually the dishes after dinner. I usually do the dishes after dinner. Number 9, Mom often cereal with milk for breakfast. This verb is also irregular. For he, she, and it, we have to write has. Mom is a she, so she has. And finally, number 10, Gabriella always delicious food for her guests. Gabriella is a she, so we're going to add an S to make. Gabriella always makes delicious food for her guests. So let me know in the comment section how many you got correct on this section out of 10. So a total of how many you got correct out of 18 for the present simple affirmative practice test. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and you found it useful. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this one. And if you check the link in the description below, you'll see links to other grammar lessons for beginners on how to improve your level of English. Thanks for watching and see you next time.